everyone. Welcome to the Casually Fit Podcast. My name is Rob. Thank you for coming by. It is episode 30. It's pretty wild, right? It's a nice round number, and I like it. Okay, I'm excited to talk to you today, and excited to show you a few people, right? Show you somebody who's been losing the weight. Show you somebody who's been just pushing up the weight, right? The fit freak of the week, and wanted to talk about a few things that are going on. All right. Right now, I am actually just coming off of a surf session, which was pretty fun. Right, the waves weren't that big. I was able to ride my longboard, which is fun. It's cool, right? I'd rather be on my shortboard, but still had a bunch of fun. And I was just thinking, I know I was about to do the podcast, and I was just thinking while I was coming out of the water, just like, wow, like, this wouldn't be possible if I wasn't exercising all the time as well. Because I, worked out this morning and went and surfed for a while, and I still feel great. I don't feel tired. I'm going to do the same thing tomorrow. Tomorrow's my day off. And I don't know, I just started feeling grateful for just being somewhat healthy. And I'm telling you that not to be like, hey, guess what? I'm somewhat healthy. I'm not telling you that to say that. What I'm trying to say is, if you're somebody who is trying to lose weight, if you're trying to get healthy, get fit, there's light at the end of the tunnel, right? There is a place where you're going to end up to where, again, that you can start doing more things. You can fit more things in your day, and you won't be as tired, you won't be as run down, and that's for sure going to happen if you stick to a good diet plan, you stick to healthy food, and you exercise. If you do those things for quite a long time, then you should be good. This is coming from experience for me. I've never been super overweight or anything like that, but I have gone several years of not exercising at all, and having to build myself back up. Like, being able to just go to the gym for 30 minutes would take me out for the rest of the day, right? And I've had to build up just through changing up the food I eat to make sure that I'm eating healthy food, so I can have the nutrients and vitamins ready to be depleted when I exercise, and then refill my body with those great vitamins and nutrients, and and just moving up from there. If you do that over time, your body adapts, your body likes it, and you become more fit. You become a little bit stronger. Your cardio becomes a little bit better. And for me, I don't work out to just have those things. Like, I don't work out to be like, I have good cardio, or I am strong, or I look a certain way. To me, that's not very exciting. I guess they're nice to haves, I guess, but I don't carry around those things with me. I like the benefits I get from exercising and eating healthy, so I can do more things in my day, like surf, like go for a run, like go hike, or be able to start my day with a hike and go and work for 5-6 hours without getting distracted, without losing energy throughout my day, throughout that work period, and then get done with that and go see what else I want to do. Maybe go for a walk, or go to the beach, or just keep on moving and just trying to enjoy life, right? And I think for me, enjoying life involves having a pretty compact day. And having a compact day is possible if you're not healthy and exercising, but it's definitely way more difficult than it has to be, for sure. And I've done that too. Yeah, I used to run off of legit like 7 to 11 energy drinks. 7 to 11 energy drinks, cigarettes, and beef jerky is what my body ran off of. Absolutely no water at all, and no exercising. And I would work for like 15 hours a day, 7 days a week, off of legit just energy drinks, beef sticks, and cigarettes. And sure, yeah, I was able to do it, but it was a struggle. First of all, working 15 hours a day, it's kind of a struggle, anyways. But I would argue that I do that same thing right now, and I feel great. And I'm able to work, for sure, I work way too much, but I'm able to work a decent amount and be able to run in a day and exercise and do whatever else I want and surf and go hang out with people and just move around and not have to worry about my energy levels. And yeah, that's just one thing that I kind of noticed today when I was getting out of the water and getting dressed. It was just well, I gotta, I noticed this about myself because like I said, I've gone from the place of, very bad diet to a place where I'm eating healthy. And so I see that difference, and I just wanted to share um, that difference that I'm able to see through, eating healthy, exercising. I don't do any diet or anything like that. I could probably use to actually gain weight, so I'm in a different scenario. But as far as calorie restriction, not really concerned with that. But as far as changing food from unhealthy to healthy, I'm fully immersed in that because I love unhealthy food. Unhealthy food tastes great. it's it's one of the finer things in life. Healthy food, especially in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s. I mean, it was just crunchy granola stuff. It's nothing too exciting, and it's getting a bit better now. The bars, like granola bars or keto bars now, or any of those nutrition bars, or the protein cookies. I mean, they're getting better, but I mean, it's not cheeseburger, right? It's not. I mean, you're getting the nutritional value is 10 times that of a cheeseburger, but it doesn't taste as good, and that's a huge issue that, of course, everybody has when they're trying to lose weight, is cutting out that unhealthy food. So yeah, I just wanted to, I guess, share that. Maybe that made sense to you. I don't know, but just want to share that with you to hopefully give you some hope. Now today, I want to show you the fit fighter of the week, right? Okay, this is a person who is getting after it. This is a person, hey, maybe you are just starting off. Maybe you're the beginner right now. Well, this person has been the beginner. They have been in the same exact place that you are at right now, but they are, a year, 2 years, 3 years down the road, right? These are the fit fighters. These are people who have already cut off or slashed off a bunch of weight already, and now they're living with that. They're living a different type of life. I know it sounds cliche to say dieting and exercising is going to change your life, and I hate that. But in many ways it does. I mean, especially just on the things that you do per day, the things you do each day. Some things will be removed, some things will be added in. So it does change your life in that way, and it can in other ways. I don't like to profess that or anything like that. I always say just stick to a diet, eat healthy, and exercise for 2 years, and in 2 years, I guarantee nobody will regret it. So yes, either way. But this, I don't know why I went on that tangent. But either way, this person, right? This is warrior / Jessica / slashes / fat on Instagram. Warrior Jessica / fat on Instagram. Just put those underscores in there. Very long Instagram name, but it's worth it. All right. It's worth it to go and type all that into Instagram and find this lady, because she has lost over 200 pounds naturally. I mean, that's a lot of weight. 200 pounds. And again, the natural way, all right? Natural way meaning, honestly, I didn't look into her too much. I wanted to look into her at the same time as I was recording this. The one thing I didn't factor in is that my computer freezes when I run the screen recording. So I can't really look at her posts. But as you can see, since the screen recording is doing something, it's recording right now. As you can see, in her pictures, she's lost a lot of weight. She has, it looks like from January 2019 to March 2021. And if you look at this picture in this, in the middle left-hand side of your screen, and it'll pop up there. There it is, right? That's a big difference, right? So she started a diet bet game. So it seems like she made a bet with her friends, I guess, to lose the weight. But she started in January 2019, and she's from Houston, Texas. 200 pounds later. That is, I mean, that's ridiculous. So, if you're, and that's a lot of people, right? 40% of 40% of Americans right now are obese, right? So that's a good number. It's a pretty high number. And, I'm not saying anything about that. I'm just saying, that's a good amount of people. So there's a good amount of people who are going to be facing a somewhat similar kind of, feat ahead of them. A couple 100 pounds, over 100 pounds, like a good amount of weight is needed to be lost, right? So I for sure suggest going to Instagram and following this lady because, again, the benefit of checking in with this warrior Jessica, really irritated with the screen recording. The benefit of following her is that again, you can see what lies ahead. I'm sure, again, the screen recording's not working, right? It's not, everything's frozen. So I wish we could look through her Instagram right now, but I'm just going to guess from just a short amount that I looked at is she has a bunch of information. I guarantee you she goes through posts and she tells you about one of her worst days when she was first beginning. I'm sure she has plenty of stories about that. And I'm sure she posts it right here on Instagram. So when you're looking ahead and you're like, oh my God, I got to lose 100 to 200 pounds, it can seem, of course, it can just seem so insurmountable and just absolutely impossible. Like, of course, that's a lot. I mean, that's a lot of weight. It's very easy to fall into that trap of being like, this is not going to happen. And that's where you got to go. You got to go get your typing thumbs or your typing fingers together and type this extremely long Instagram handle into your Instagram and then go click the follow. All right. Because she's going to help you out. Of course, she's going to help you out. She lost 200 pounds. And one thing that I've noticed as an aging man with aging friends, and just seeing other people age, and one thing I've noticed is many people, especially millennials, millennials right now, I'm a millennial, we're like switching over, we're like forming into the old people, right? We're becoming old, and a lot of people are struggling with that. All right, I'm just gonna be honest. There's a lot of people who are struggling with it. I think that's pretty similar for every generation. Maybe more so millennials. Millennials get a lot of flack for a lot of reasons. A lot of it's actually just might be justified. Some of it, right? But what I've noticed is there's a lot of people who are not, they don't like to absorb advice, or, they don't like to listen too much when, they're headed on a like difficult journey. One of the things that many people do is when they're looking at something difficult ahead of them, something that they haven't done before, like trying to lose 200 pounds, a lot of people build them. I feel like a lot of people build themselves up inside to be able to say, I am going to do that. And since they did that, they think that, they can't let their guard down. They can't take in other advice. They can't take in alternate routes that they could be taking, because then that means that maybe they don't really know what they're doing, right? So I think that's this whole vulnerability that people have. So I have definitely noticed that certain people, especially in this transformation when you're not really you're not admitting that you're getting older, but you are getting older. A lot of people are not admitting that fact. If that's you, it might be hard to look at her Instagram and think good things and think that this is actual useful information. You'd be like, well, this chick, then you start making excuses. Then you start saying that she got there for whatever else. Maybe she's lying about, her being all natural or whatever the case, right? Then you just start going into, you just start spiraling, and that's not good. So I would say hopefully you can recognize that, and hopefully, you can follow this lady and can get some good information from her. But that is the Fit Fighter of the Week. And I think, I tried out another name for who to call the person who's killing it in the gym. But I think I'm going to stick with the Fit Fighter. It's kind of grown on me. So that is a for sure segment title, I believe. Fit Fighter of the Week. All right. They're out there fighting for fitness. And I'm just trying to show you that they are. So hopefully you can get some inspiration from them. Link up with them, ask some questions. I don't know, do whatever you want to do, right? She has a link tree. I'm sure she's selling a bunch of stuff. Go buy some stuff from her. But the next thing I wanted to get into, and I'm sorry to talk about, the O word today. I don't like to, I know it kind of sets people back a little bit. It's hard for some people to listen to somebody else talk about the O word, somebody who is not an O, and so I'm going to try to be, I have no ill will towards the O's, right? I feel like calling it the O's does sound better. I don't know if anybody's called for that, but maybe I'll start calling it because the O's just sounds great. But yes, one of the things that I saw, this is where I give you the nutrition tip of the week, and this is just going to be kind of like a general awareness tip, right? Just something that's going on. And I don't mean, I'm not political at all, so don't start adding in political stuff. Don't start adding in all this. Don't start thinking crazy stuff. But from the CDC, right? I'm sure that just flagged this video, but from the CDC, they just released a report that 80% of hospitalizations for people who are less than 65 years old, 80% of those people were either overweight or obese, right? Meaning that if you were younger in age and you're overweight and obese, you had a much, much higher rate or much higher risk of being admitted to the ICU, also being put on a ventilator, and also dying. So that's intense. I know, I get it. That's off a study that looked at over 150,000 people and over 250 hospitals. And the hospitals, they reported, apparently there's only somewhere around like 258 might be the number, or 270. I can't remember the exact number. But out of like 860 hospitals, only 250 reported height and weight, I guess. So I don't know how that works out. So who knows? But, out of 150,000 people from the dates of, I think it was like March of last year to December of last year, that's a good chunk of people. And out of 250 hospitals, I mean, it's kind of hard to deny that, right? Unless they're lying. I mean, I'm not going to get into that. There are things that could be at play, but more than likely not at all, right? This is from the CDC. It's just data. That's all it is. It's just data, and that's the data that they have, is that 80% of people under the age of 65 years old had a much higher risk of being admitted to the ICU, and also, and this is obviously if they have the C word, right? If they have the C word, then they're much higher risk to be admitted to the ICU, be put on a ventilator, or death, unfortunately. So I think this is kind of, there's a lot of wake-up calls. There were little murmurs of this in the beginning that maybe this was an issue. And the reason why, first of all, real quick, the reason why is just because Overweight people, obese people, they just hold more adipose. They just hold a little bit more fat, which means more inflammation, which means that they're more susceptible, right? That's why. Again, this is just a science process, right? I'm not saying anything about who these people are. This is just data, and this is just me talking about the data. And again, last year, the COVID thing, I didn't want to say the C word because I didn't want to get flagged. But the C word, right? There's a lot of differing opinions. There's a lot of things going on about it. And the O word for sure was being thrown around for a little bit. But, some people, of course, were like, yeah, this is for sure. This is for sure a huge issue. And this is the reason why people are being admitted to the hospital. But then you have people just like, no, the data's not really in. And I'm in the boat where, we haven't really had the data. I don't think we had enough data to be able to say these things. But now, we're almost in April, and we have the data, right? They did this study, or they grabbed this data and they looked at it, and this is what it was. So now I think it's, if you weren't put on notice about being overweight or obese last year, it is what it is. It's fine. So it's okay. It was a weird year. Nobody was expecting that. Everybody's thrown inside, and then we got to put masks on, and now we got to get vaccines, and businesses are shutting down, but now they're opening. We're eating out in the freaking streets next to cars flying by, just waiting to see when a car's just somebody's not going to be paying attention, just going to clip into the, we're living in weird times, right? So if you weren't put on notice last year, whatever. But now, right, 80%, that's a huge risk factor. That is a huge variable. That's an undeniable thing that you can't ignore, right? And if you're in those categories and you're hearing this, and your heart's kind of going like, oh, you're like, when you first come to reality with something that you've been ignoring forever, when you have a blind spot and then you see the blind spot, like you can just be, if you're in your car and you're just cruising, maybe you got off of work early and you're driving home and there's no traffic. Usually there's bumper to bumper cars, but there's no traffic. You got like maybe a half-hour drive home. Maybe you got a little J in your freaking glove box. You just light up, roll the window down a little bit. Actually, no, you don't do that because that's illegal. But you're just driving home, nice and leisurely, just cruising. The windows down, the sun's out. You're about to go hang out with your friends later on that day, and all of a sudden you see your exit coming, and you decide to, you're in the middle lane. You got to go over a couple lanes, but you're just chilling, and you just look over real quick. You don't see any cars, and you just try switching lanes, but then all of a sudden you just hear just a horn, maybe not a smack. I don't know how to make a horn sound, but you hear a loud horn, and you look again and you see that there's a car there that you're about to sideswipe at 70 miles per hour, completely ruining your day, your early day off. And that initial, like when you feel that initial kind of fear, that overwhelming, rush that you feel when you're just chilling and then you're about to be in a car accident on the freeway. I mean, that's kind of similar to what I might have said to you, right? If I'm starting to talk to you about, these numbers and what's going on, that might freak you out a little bit, and it's understandable. I would just say, the good news is that if you just restrict your calories, if you just change your food from unhealthy food to healthy food, and you start exercising regularly, sorry, just had a stroke, my bad. If you start doing that, then over time, your adipose issue will reduce. And this whole thing with, the C word and your risk of all that, eating health. I mean, that woman lost 200 pounds, January 2019, right? So that's 3 years, right? Wait, yeah, that's 2 years. That's like 100 pounds a year. Okay, that's a lot. She's killing it, right? She's killing it. What is, yeah. So 200 or 100 pounds a year. So what I'm trying to say is that, whatever weight you need to lose to get to like a healthy weight. And they also, in that same data, if you were overweight, if you're in a healthy weight, even if you're just at the line, you're in a much better place. It went from like no risk really with healthy people, and then just a sharp jump for people who are in an overweight and obese category. And I should have said that's based off your BMI. So it's based off your height and your weight, body mass index. And so, right, where's I going with that? So based off I'm trying to think. Sorry, lost my train of thought on that. Oh, put you on notice. Okay, so all right, again, if you haven't been put on notice, now's the time. Now's the time you can eat healthy, you can restrict your calories, you can start exercising, and everything's going to be great. Again, it's not going to happen. That's what I was going to. It's not going to happen overnight. Again, that lady, Jessica, 100 pounds a year, 200 pounds in about 2 years. It's going to take a while, right? And I'm sure she has to be on some ridiculous routine with exercising and ridiculous routine with her diet, which, again, go check her out on Instagram, see what she's up to. That's a lot of weight to lose, right? For other people, results are going to vary. Some people, it's all based on a bunch of different factors, right? So results will vary. And so if you're looking at it like, oh, I got to lose 200 pounds, and then you start thinking, I'm going to lose 200 pounds in 2 years, that might not be an accurate goal to put for you. I'm the type of person that always, has a huge goal and works towards a huge goal. So I'm not really going to say don't do that, but just know that results do vary, right? And you had to put in a bunch of effort. But again, the good news is that if you do put in the effort over time, things are going to work out better. It's just a matter. I don't want to just say it's just a matter. No, it is a complex issue, and it's very difficult to lose weight. And there's a lot of different factors that play into it, right? So, but I just wanted to give you those statistics and just talk to you for a second about it, right? Again, they caught me off guard. I was just like, oh, that's a problem. That's a huge risk factor that we should address, because again, the way I look at it is, again, 80% of the now I'm forgetting the wording on it, but 80% of the hospitalizations were overweight and obese people, right? So that puts up overweight and obese people in a very high category. And right now, 40% of America is obese, and I want to say maybe 20 to 30% is considered overweight. So that means the majority of or close to the majority. No, I think together, I can't remember the numbers, but I believe together it's somewhere around 60 to 70% of the country might be overweight and obese. I'm not sure. But it's close. It's either half or the majority of America is at great risk for this, right? Especially, again, this is for younger people. So this should put people in check. If you're scared about all this and you're staying home and doing all that, and you're kind of wondering what's next other than the vaccine, you got to get on this. You got to switch over, right? You got to switch from unhealthy food to healthy food. I know that's a bummer, right? That's always a bummer. You got to start eating less. That's a bummer too. You're going to be hungry. it's all a difficult process. You got to start exercising. That's a difficult process. I get it, right? It's not the easiest thing to do in the world, and it's for sure something that's not sought after for many people for many reasons. But you got to do it, right? You have to do it. It's a non-negotiable. The problem is that it seems like it is negotiable. It seems like you can just do whatever and that you don't have to care about exercising or dieting or any of that. It seems that way because you can go a pretty long time doing it before you see some really, depending on your age, right? But before you see some really crazy negative effects from it, from hypertension, type 2 diabetes, right? We have heart disease, we have, I believe, liver disease. I mean, and now the C word, right? And now the C word. So it's a bummer. I feel for everybody who has to make that decision and now has to look ahead and be like, I got to do this thing. I get it. It's going to be very difficult. It's going to be very tough. But you will come out a different person mentally and physically on the other end, no matter what. I mean, struggle, especially that type of struggle, where it's physical and it's equally mental, right? Well, I would say it's more mental than physical, but they're both coinciding together, right? That kind of struggle will for sure, change you for the better if you can, push past, right? If you can endure and you can lose the weight, like Jessica, who lost 200 pounds. And Jessica, good for her, right? It's all great. But another thing that comes up is right after you lose a bunch of weight, there's usually some sort of rebound, right? And you got to minimize the rebound. So that's probably something that she's looking at right now. She might even be still trying to go down in weight. I'm not too sure what her deal is because my computer froze, right? So yeah. Either way, I just want to show you those numbers. This video is probably flagged. Hopefully you can still see it. But now let's get into the Fit Freak of the Week. And this person, again, this just person who is just out there killing it, out there just working out all the time and seeing what they can do. And if you go to all the way 814 on Instagram, you will see, what's his name? His name is All the Way, and he is an entrepreneur, and he is a youth director, has some programs, supplements, apparel. He's got it all, and he kills it. I mean, I saw, this is what caught my attention, is this first video that you're watching right now. And, despite the halter top that he's wearing, that's fine, I guess. But the jump and the stretch over, I mean, that's a physical feat right there. That shows that you're in shape, right? And if you see him move, I mean, again, he's got his body on lock. And this is, why I highlight the Fit Freak of the Week. This person, he's got it together. I mean, he's just bouncing up and down in a bunch of his other videos, but he does have other workouts on here. Let's see, it's kind of working. Now, one thing, what I try to do here is I try to highlight the Fit Freak of the Week in a positive way, but sometimes it just turns into me shitting on them. And I'm sorry if you're watching this all the way, 814, but sometimes it's easy to shit on people. He is the person in the gym doing some wild stuff, right? So if you go online, you can see a bunch of other people doing some wild stuff. Because usually what goes on in the gym, and I'm not saying any of that's right, but it is what happens in the gym most of the time is that most people are doing mostly the same thing, right? It's a bunch of basic people, really, who are just doing the same thing, and they're not really deterring from that, right? I go to a gym where it's pretty much all bodybuilders. So it's all like bodybuilder exercises. It's all, the same exercises that have been around since like the 70s. And I'm not saying that all of those are bad. I'm I'm just saying that they're still stuck in this, like, this is how you do it. An example of that, example of how they are just how you do it like that, is they don't have any kettlebells and they have absolutely no room for stretching. It's like not even a thing. I'm surprised they have treadmills, honestly. But I'm just, I love that gym. Though they have everything there. But you just see people doing curls or doing chest press or whatever, and then you got all the way. Now all the way, I mean, he goes all the way, like, for sure. Where's one that I saw him? Here it is. Right? So one thing that you will not see in most gyms is somebody jumping around on top of the bench like that with the weight. So he goes all the way, which I like. I'm here for it. And I like it. But yeah, there's just one thing that I saw where it's just like, oh yeah, he's the guy. Everybody's like, just like, what is he doing, right? But he gets it, right? Whatever he's doing works, which is why, if you're in that old school mindset of just like you have to do it this way, that way, you need to break that, right? That's over, and that's clearly over, right? Yeah. I mean, it all depends on what you want to do. If you're focused on, just the size of your biceps, right? Whatever, however vain that is, if that's all you're focused on, sure, do the bodybuilding stuff, right? But there are other exercises out there if you're looking for something more than just the size of your bicep. But yeah, go to all the way. I wish I could show you more, but my computer froze again. But yeah, he's a fit freak of the week because, again, if you're cruising on Instagram, you can see he's just killing it, throwing around dumbbells, doing some jumps with his halter top and his red tights. Those tights, it's weird. I didn't grow up with the tights, right? And it's just weird. I never, I think I tried wearing them once. It's just so constricting, makes you so hot. Maybe that's why they do it. And these are so tight, it almost looks like he actually just colored, like in post-production on this video, he just made his legs red, which is pretty wild. They seem, I mean, I don't know. It's just something to talk about for a second. I apologize. But yeah, that's this week's podcast, right? Just a few things I want to talk to you about. Hopefully you got some good information. Hopefully I, made your Wednesday, I don't know, a little bit better, I guess. If you are in the O category, sorry if I offended you. I don't think I did. But, I'm sorry if, hearing those data points, got you feeling uneasy. But, sorry. But we got to move forward, right? We got to, if that's you, if it made you feel uneasy, look, just focus on the things that you can change, and changing the diet, exercising, those are things that you can change. So, instead of feeling that uneasy feeling, right, or dwelling on it, just focus your attention on those other things, right? And everything will work out in the end. But yeah, that's this week's podcast, episode 30, and I will see you next week. Adios.